Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. Just a quick chime in on the whole Neil Young Spotify thing. I've seen a few people in the VC that have done some videos on it, and obviously with Neil Young being such a big music name, I guess it's kind of made its way into some of the chatter here. So just wanted to kind of jump in and give my 2 cents on the whole thing, where basically one thing is just kind of my initial gut reaction to it. Then there was another piece that really kind of hit close to home for me, and I just kind of felt like sharing it. But simply put, Neil Young's not a big fan of Joe Rogan. Doesn't really like him. Wanted him canceled. Dropped off of Spotify. Told Spotify, if you don't do it, I'm gonna take all my music off. Spotify said, "See ya," and took his music off. So I guess the two things that really kind of jump out at me, first of all, just kind of my initial gut reaction, which is simply, I found it a little ironic, I guess, just because with all the years I've known Neil and loved his stuff and listened to him and everything else, he's always been such an anti establishment guy. He's always been such a fight the man and, keep off me and like all that kind of stuff. So I just did kind of find it a little ironic that all of a sudden he used or tried to use the power and name recognition and everything he had to shut someone else down. It was like, geez, Neil, that was kind of very the man of you for someone who's always been so anti the man. So that was kind of just my first gut thought or initial reaction, I should say, when I heard the story. But I think the thing that really kind of hit home to me really kind of revolves around the whole freedom of speech piece. And I know, I guess Neil's Canadian or whatever, so I'm definitely talking about this more from an American standpoint. But if you guys have noticed over the past few months, I rotate pictures and stuff around in my house all the time. But for the past few months, I've had this framed copy of the Constitution, and then also this framed copy of the Bill, or I'm sorry, the Declaration of Independence right back there. I do have a small Bill of Rights over there as well. These are the only two pieces I have framed in my house up on my walls that are not music related. Every single other piece on my wall, and you guys have seen my room tours, is all music related. And that's because that's the significance that these two things hold for me. And one of the places where it hits really deep is I did that video about a year and a half ago of the 41 questions where I told the story about my father and how he made it to the States. If I remember, I'll put it down below if you want to go check out the whole thing. But simply put, he came to the States as an exchange student, met my mom, got his PhD, but he wasn't a citizen, so his visa was up. He had to go back. He was working for the government when he went back to Africa. And the leaders at that time got in their mind, people are trying to take us over, they're trying to get us out, this and that. So, how do you solve that problem? You kill people. So, even though my dad had never actually plotted or even had conversations or thoughts about anything, they thought just because of the fact that he was educated, that he would be a person that could be very effective in speaking out against them, and it wasn't worth the risk. So they literally put his head on a chopping block to have him, not literally on a chopping block, but they literally put his name on a list to be killed. And luckily, one of the individuals that was kind of inside of all of this was close to my dad and came to him and said, "Hey, you need to get out of here because they just told us to put your name on the list." So, under the guise of coming back to visit my mother, the woman he met when he was over here at school, he came back to the States for a visit. And as soon as his feet hit down or touched down in New York, political asylum. These guys are trying to kill me. I don't know why. And so then he went to Canada to wait for his legal status to come into the country. He waited there for about 9 months to a year. He came into the States, and then the rest is kind of history. So, when it comes to when I'm watching all this stuff with cancel culture and people being shut down because I don't like what they're saying or they're not agreeing with what we're saying and all of that, like the first thing I think about is that same premise is why I was this close to not even being here, because there was someone that said potentially the speech that comes out of this person's mouth is something that I may not agree with and it needs to be shut down. Um, so that freedom of speech is, and quite frankly, look at the Second Amendment as well, is kind of why I hold this so dear with that experience with my dad. So so that whole thing with Neil Young just really kind of brought that out. And it reminds me of a quote too that it's been a long time since I've quoted it, but years and years ago when I went to the Holocaust Museum in D.C., I'll never forget how this seared in my mind. But there was a guy named Martin Nomeyer or something like that. I can't pronounce the last name properly. I apologize. I have to go look it up. It's been so long. But he had this amazing quote. He was a Nazi supporter, and he said, "First they came for the socialists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews. I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me." When he got to that point to where he was starting to disagree a little bit with the Nazis, they thought he was a little bit of a threat, and all of a sudden, when they came for him, he was like, everyone's already been canceled, taken out. There was no one left to defend me. And it just seems like we have gotten so comfortable in this country right now with just going down this path of division, and even worse, letting these politicians push this path of division on us, where we're so comfortable letting this person get canceled. We don't want to speak out. We're willing to let the next person get canceled. We don't want to speak out. Eventually, you're going to be the one that gets canceled. And you're definitely going to want someone there to defend and help protect you. But it's like we're totally and completely forgetting those lessons. And one of the things that shows that the most is the way that we're so willing to shut down speech that we don't agree with. And so that would be my nugget if anything comes out of this. I mean, I'm not here to preach. I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts and feelings about this, again, since it kind of hits close to home for me. And it's like, if you ever think you truly believe in the freedom of speech, if you think you can actually say that, one test that I always suggest is, yes, freedom of speech is about you being able to say what you want to say, or supporting people that are saying things that you support. But quite frankly, that doesn't mean a lot of anything. That doesn't show you support freedom of speech, because the world's worst drug dealer and serial killer, or the best person in the world, the most evil person in the world, all those people are okay with saying what they believe and supporting people that are saying things that they believe. The true test, if you believe in freedom of speech, is, do you defend people having the right to say things that you despise? Do you protect those people from being canceled and losing their jobs, having their families harassed online to no end, just trying to destroy them in every single way they could possibly be destroyed? Defending them is what true defense of speech is about. And I think a lot of us have forgotten that. We've just simply turned it into a me saying what I want to say and shutting down whatever it is that you want to say. And we've done it under the guise of saying, when you say something I don't like, I'm going to file it somewhere under hate, file it somewhere under, misinformation, all these terms that we've now put to it. But, it's like, have we not seen this play out in history before? And that's not saying you don't speak out against things you disagree with. I mean, you definitely have to do that. But that's just the thing. I'm not going to cancel you. I'm not going to demand your job. I'm not going to harass your children. I'm going to have you come debate me. I'm going to come debate you. Let's do it in front of the world. If my ideas are the good and right ideas, they will prevail. Let us shine light on all of this stuff. But if my first instinct is to threaten you with your job, threaten your children, threaten your spouse, threaten your reputation, we've seen this before. We have seen this before. So again, my 2 cents on that, and like I said, I guess it just really sparked with Neil doing that, because someone that I've always held as such an anti-establishment person, to take such a comfortable position in trying to shut down and cancel someone, it's just like, is this the next one that happens where we don't speak out? And then who's next? And then which politicians are allowed to do it? And on and on and on. And eventually, we're showing that we're the same stupid human beings we always are, by repeating the same stupid mistakes we always make. So anyway, that's my 2 cents, VC. Just wanted to kind of chime in on that, which I thought was, okay, that's not a left thing or right thing, Republican, Democrat. That's an all of us thing right there. So Let's all try to be a little bit better. All right, take care, guys.